Okay, I'm ready. Please introduce yourself and your relationship to Mr. Kennedy.
I'm Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy.
I'm Robert Kennedy.
Eunice Kennedy Shriver.
My name's Jacqueline Kennedy.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
John's mother.
John's brother.
John's sister.
John Kennedy's wife.
And President of the United States.
How would you describe President Kennedy's childhood?
As a child, Jack, we called him Jack more frequently than John. Well, he was a sickly child, always suffering through some sort of illness. Still, he stayed active. He played football with his siblings and then became a trustworthy swimmer at Harvard. He was a special young gentleman, and I had great expectations for him.
My mother and father raised us, each to do our very best, so we tried. John was so determined to reach our parents' high expectations. He even followed our oldest brother Joe to Harvard. While at university, he developed a passion for international affairs. He wrote a novel, Why England Slept, and it really exposed England for their lack of action during the Second World War.
What are some fond memories of John from his childhood?
We all enjoyed sailing together, Joseph, the nine kids, and I. On more casual days, we would go to the park and play games after Mass. Those are a few of my favorite memories with John and our family.
I specifically remember playing games in the backyard with my older siblings. We were lucky as children since we never had to face the hardships other families did. Our father withdrew his wealth from the stock market before the great crash in the 20s, so we never had to struggle.
My favorite memory of Jack was probably when he came home from the Second World War and he won a Purple Heart Award. I always admired my older brothers as a sister, and I was just very proud.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy would go on to do great things in government and the community. Originally, John took his seat in the House of Representatives for the state of Massachusetts. Then, in 1952, John ran for U.S. Senate and won. I can only imagine the pride you must have felt in him.
My husband pushed our young men to go far. He ended up in Congress due to Joseph's ambition and influence.
Oh, we were all ecstatic for Jack and his placing in the U.S. Senate and Congress. From that point on, I knew I was going to support him in anything he did.
During his political career, John managed to get married and start a family. Jacqueline, what led you to marrying Mr. Kennedy?
I believe it was 1951 the first time I met Jack, and from that moment, I knew. Both of our families were wealthy, and no one objected to the idea, so it just happened. We got engaged shortly after, and married back in '53. I used to think he was as much in love with me as he could be with anyone. But later on, he had to marry me because of practical reasons, because his career was the driving thing within him. Our family believed that the White House was a place to celebrate American history, culture, and achievement. We had people of many careers visit and converse with us. I restored the house with some of the finest art that America had to offer, and made it a place that truly reflected our country's history and art.
How would you describe the road to presidency?
My son had everything against him because of his youth and religion, yet he gained the votes. Some say he was more notable than Nixon for his appealing public image. Of course, the entire family was honored to this appointment, as this was the farthest any Kennedy had ever gotten in politics.
I was a huge supporter of Jack, and in return, he helped with my special campaigns for the intellectually disabled. Our sister Rosemary, she had a couple intellectual ailments, so of course he made it a goal to help confront those and make them better.
Even though social reform was very important to President Kennedy, the Cuban Missile Crisis and Cold War deterred him from his goals. President Johnson, describe what it was like working with Mr. Kennedy.
When John found out about the missiles in Cuba, he did not want the information to leak to the public or the Soviet Union. He met with his advisors in secret to discuss the potential conflict. I'd say he handled the situation well when he ordered a naval blockade around Cuba. John demanded that the missiles be removed in order to put a stop to the possibility of nuclear war. The US and Soviet Union came to an agreement with the communists would dismantle the weapon sites in exchange for a pledge that we would not invade Cuba.
Through all the good Mr. Kennedy brought to our country, the catastrophic event of his assassination will be the foremost event mourned by Americans. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was assassinated in Texas during a motorcade campaigning for a second term. Please bring us back to November 1963 when you received word of your loved one's death.
It was a sunny day when I heard the news. I remember because the sky was a clear blue. I received a call from Bobby about the shot in Dallas, and then it didn't look good for Jack. I went to the beach to be alone and think. I couldn't tell Joseph the terrible news. The final call came in and my life changed forever. I went back home, went in my room, grabbed my rosary, and questioned God. Why had he taken my son, the President of the United States?
Well, I was just beginning my Camp Shriver for the intellectually disabled, and then when I got the news, I was just devastated. You see, God had already taken our eldest brother, Joseph, during the war, so losing another brother, I thought of my parents, and I thought of my other siblings. I knew Bobby had to have been devastated, and then I thought of the country too. Just the nationwide mourning.
The director of the FBI, Edgar Hoover, was the first to inform me of Jack's assassination. I immediately blamed myself because of the persecution of Castro's mob, and it's likely that the mob played a part in his death. I never thought my actions would lead to this.
When I heard the news of Jack's assassination, my heart just stopped. He served his people well and would do anything in his power to protect them. In response to his death, I launched the Warren Commission to investigate the assassination back in 1963.
Hello, I'm Officer Humongous. I worked on the Warren Commission to investigate the untimely death of President Kennedy. As I'm looking at my files, we concluded that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald was the sole factor in the Texas shooting.
Do you have any last comments you would like to mention?
Some say time heals all wounds, but I don't agree. The wounds remain. In time, the mind protecting the sanity covers them with scar tissue, and the pain lessens, but is never gone.
I just want the country to remember my brother for all the good he has brought us, and I would like to wish Lyndon B. Johnson luck in office.
The recent events in relation to my brother John, I've come to realize that tragedy is a tool for the living to gain wisdom, not by which to live.
I feel more cruelly every day for what I have lost. I would have much rather lost my own life than lost Jack's.
I'm getting a hive on my neck. This is not going to be good.
And our country's history and creativity.
That was really bad.
I keep forgetting my name. What do you want my name to be? I'm Officer Judy Hobbs. Hello, I'm Randall Smith. Hello, I'm Mike Wazowski. Hello, I'm Officer... Wait, what's my name?
Humongous.
We concluded that Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald was the sole factor in the Texas shooting.
Oh, we're done. Okay.
Girls can't play football. This is how I taught my boys.
Oh my gosh, a bug just ran into my face.
I really hope that our Fitzy is not showing.
Hey, it died for all of this.